The title of Emmett Fox is Largesse Unlimited. The most mischievous thing in life is man's reluctance to perceive his own dominion. God has given us dominion over all things, but we shrink like frightened children from assuming it, although that assuming is the one and only escape for us. Jesus, who knew the human heart and understood our weakness in this respect, commands us, ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asks receiveth, and he that seeks finds, and to him that knocks it shall be opened. And that scripture is from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 7, verse 7 and 8. Is not this the Magna Carta of personal freedom for every person on earth? Is not this the decree of the emancipation of the slaves of every kind of bondage, physical, mental, or spiritual? We have no business to accept ill health or poverty or sinfulness or strife or unhappiness or remorse with resignation. We have no right to accept anything less than freedom and harmony and joy. For only with these things do we glorify God and express his holy will, which is our raison
d'être.
Raison d'être. We are to reorganize our lives in accordance with his teaching, continuously and untiringly, until our goal is attained. That this attainment, that our victory over every negative condition is not merely possible, but is definitely promised to us, finds its proof in these glorious words.
Thank you. So Leah is giving the talk today. Leah, what's the title of your talk, please?
You are living your life's purpose.
Go for it.
Okay. And just remember to check if anybody else needs to come in. We've gotten spoiled with Lori C. Yeah. Okay. That's the title I came up with because I didn't know how else to explain what I am going to be talking about, because that is the main thing, but it's little things that add up into it. Because people are asking, what is? You are living it. When you share a smile, well, that's your life's purpose. If you are sharing an ear, listening to someone, you're living it. When you say, but I want to be this or that, or why is it my heart? No, that's different. That could be your life's purpose in a way, but that's two separate subjects. That's like asking a child, what do you want to be when you grow up? Shoot, I'm past 60 and I'm still asking myself, what do I want to be when I grow up? It's two different things. So we're not going to discuss your life's goals, your life's desires, your life's wants. We are talking about you are living your life's purpose. Your purpose is to be love, to allow yourself to feel that love, as well as to be able to give that love. We are here to have fun, to enjoy being human, and to serve, to help others. It doesn't mean to become a rug for somebody to walk all over you on. That's something totally different. You're not here meant to be walked on, walked over. You're here to help others. And I'm going to get more into that. That is part of this talk. But your life's purpose is, we're all healers. The more I've been thinking about this title, the more information that has been given to me unexpectedly is that to remind each and every one of us, we are all healers. Just because we don't have a title or label for it doesn't mean you cannot heal somebody. There are so many different modalities. Because sometimes if you walk past somebody, whether it's a stranger or somebody you ever notice that if you say hi and wave, and they smile back, you don't know how much you might have healed inside of them, recognizing them, the soul inside them, that it lifts their spirits. That is a healing. A healing doesn't have to be, let me lay my hands on you, let me do this, whatever. No. Jesus even said, everybody heals. It's just everybody is a different level of it. And we're all in this lifetime, and others, aspire to what he was able to do. That is true. I mean, the man was definitely energy filled, able to just look at you and you were healed. But he never once said, oh no, you can't do that because you can't, blah, blah, blah. He didn't even put himself as a label. But humans like labels. But he never gave himself a label. Okay, I'm going to start to digress a little bit, but I wanted you to know you are living your life purpose. And I'm going to get more into this so you can understand, oh yeah, I am living my life's purpose. Now, is your life perfect? No, it's as Lori Kay has been talking, as she's been kind of helping and guiding this and that, she's showing us, she's one that's able to show us how to get more into more of that joy we're looking for. But sometimes it's that little voice inside. It's something inside the heart. And this came across, believe it or not, YouTube. I love my YouTube. This was interesting. Something I would never, no, I'm not going to click on this. I don't need to watch this. It had to do with mowing grass. Yeah. I clicked on a YouTube channel that had to do with mowing grass. Now who cares? But that's just it. The more I end up watching him, now the young man has got me hooked on watching him mow yards. Because the things he says and does and this and that is so inspiring. And that's his life's purpose. But he doesn't say it that way. He doesn't even think of it that way. It started out, these two young men had a lawn mowing business or worked with a lawn mowing business. COVID-19 hit. Well, people all of a sudden had to stay home. People all of a sudden didn't have the influx of money or this and that. So here's two young men. I would say they're probably not quite 30. Not yet. If so, they're close to it, if that old. When you get my age, it's hard to tell who's around 30 or over or under sometimes. But they just started talking, because what else you going to do if you're not that busy? They started talking. And it's like, well, what can we do? People were being shut in, this and that. Our business has slowed down some. So what are we going to do? And so they got to talking, and one said, hey, let's start a YouTube channel. And once a week, find someone to help. So they drove around until or someone recommends. But I've listened, and there are times one time they mentioned, we've knocked on 5 houses and we were turned down each time. Well, this one, we'll go one more. And they probably would have done more. We'll go one more. We'll try this person, see what they've got to say. Because it is getting late and we need to mow a grass for somebody. So that's it. They just drove. They followed, what do you want to call it? Instinct or intuition, or they were just following their heart. They had no clue which way to go or this or that, or where the yard was going to be. But they drove until they found someone to serve. And they would knock on the door. And the person, most of them, you want to know how much you going to charge me? And they're like, oh, no, we're just doing this once a week just because we felt somebody needed help. Why not help them? So once a week, when we're not busy mowing for clients, we'll find somebody that really needs their lawn mowed. Oh, really? Yeah. And we're going to film the before pictures and after pictures if that's okay. So they were learning, experimenting on how to use YouTube, using the camera and this and that and what have you. And they would absolutely change that yard from being a jungle into a beautiful, beautiful. And I've watched enough where one time they had a sidewalk, you never knew they had a sidewalk there. Or one of them, they had a drive, you didn't know the driveway was that wide because grass, the dirt and grass just kind of moved itself in. Mother Nature's good at that. She's good like, oh, you're not using that concrete, you're not using that sidewalk. I mean, that's Mother Nature. You're not using it, I'll use it. But I thought that was so much, they had so much fun doing that. And the one man just kind of always wanted to do it anyway, but apparently with the COVID, it gave him a golden opportunity. But what happened after they got started doing this, the other young man started a non-profit organization mowing lawns. He said that's what he always wanted to do. And they would get a kick out of it. Sometimes they'd be doing a jig. They'd stop what they're doing and having a jig and then go back to mowing grass. That is a life's purpose. They didn't sit there, oh God, what am I supposed to do? No, they're just like, why not do this? Why not? They are living, they're serving, and it gets so tickled at doing it. And when people say, oh, let me pay you. Oh, no, I'm doing this for free. So that was a kind of a double-edged thing too. I think the young man had to learn how to accept what is given to him. So he had a little trouble, but he started doing it. He goes, okay, I was told I need to do this. All right, I'll take the money. Sometimes it's only $20. A couple times it's been $100, and a few times a $50. But what he did when he got money like that, at times he has a nephew that has cystic fibrosis. So what he would do with that tip money was donate it. And there's been a couple times he goes, I'm going to pay this forward. I got to get something to eat at Publix. He's in Florida. I'm going to go to Publix. I'm going to get something to eat. And if there's somebody behind me, well, one time there wasn't anybody behind him all times. He walked around until he saw an elderly lady and said, here you go. Somebody had given him 50 and he decided to match it. Gave him 100. And he's like, why not? And one time, one of the owners said, well, what is it? Can I give you? Oh, nothing. I'm fine. Well, what do you need? I don't need anything. I've got everything I could need. I don't need anything. And one time, oh, he did get excited one time when he was given a gift. Oh, he was so excited. One of the gentlemen, he had it like, had just, had a health issue thing. So he couldn't mow his lawn like he used to be able to do. And so he was sitting out on the porch on the side. He'd come out and see what he could help a little. He was given, the young man was given a spool of, well, wire to me. And you would have thought he was given $1 million, which he didn't want the money, but you would have thought he had the most golden treasure, because the wire the gentleman gave him went with his weed eater. So that way, and he thought that was the best gift he could ever have. And by the way, I want a weed eater too. After watching him, don't know how to use it, what I would use it for, but I'm just saying, I want a weed eater. I mean, this young man has changed my life. I want a weed eater too. It looked like fun. Just get out there. Oh, man, him and his partner, who now has his own YouTube called Clean the City. So he would go around doing his thing as a nonprofit. So that's just it. They're just doing their own thing. They're having a YouTube. And I noticed on YouTube, there is more mowing YouTubes. But that was his passion. That's what he wanted to do, was, okay. A couple more things, because I know I'm talking about that a little bit more than I wanted. And they're fascinating. But one day, this is my attitude. One day, his weed eater got stolen. Normally, he does lock it up, but this time, for whatever reason, he didn't. And being human, whatever, I'm like, ooh, call the cops. Well, he ended up, because of where he had his camera, the thief did not mess with the camera. But he did have one in the truck, but he couldn't get the truck open, the thief, this and that. So the thief got on, and he showed it on YouTube. That's how you could see who the person was, this and that. And he was trying this and that. And finally, he tried to lift up the weed eater. And it was, and the thief, he just slung it over his shoulder and he just walked like, look what I got. So funny. Me, I'm like, okay, you got info, call the cops. Oh yeah, call the cops. You know what he did? I hope he needed it more than me. And I'm like, ooh, Lea, if that doesn't make you feel about yay big and make you think, oh yeah, you need to forgive people too. And because he had it on YouTube and he talked about it, this and that, well, what surprised him was his subscribers, and he's got over 100,000 subscribers. What got him was people were giving him money. So he ended up not only he had a second weed eater that was in the back where the guy didn't see it. So he was able to finish his job, and he was helping somebody out, of course. And, but he got a neat little, skinny little weed eater, like a lawnmower looking thing, apparently something even more special. And again, it reminded me, just because something was stolen, taken away from you, really? Because he got something new, improved, what have you. And it brought back to me, it's like, Lea, remember when you were in the first car accident? You got a better car. Remember the second accident? You even got a better car, which I still have today. And I'm grateful for it. So it's like, Lea, there's a reason things happen for you, not to you, but for you. And I thought, Yeah, I still, part of me was like, couldn't you call the cops? But no. So to me, that was a lesson I needed to remember. If something bad happens for you, look at it differently. Forgive the person. Acknowledge the fact that maybe the guy did need it for whatever reason. Whether he keeps it or sold it, it was up to him. And I mentioned how he has everything he needs. He got more excited about the spool of wire. But he also, because he always encourages when he gets on there, he is just always so cheerful and this and that. And sometimes he writes down on the YouTube, they put words up there. And I like what he had to say about this too. It's only too late if you don't start. And my saying, what I always say is like, if you're not dead yet, go for it. Once you're dead, never mind. And I like what he had to say. And another one that he put up, if not now, then when? Dream big, start small, but most of all, start. So you might have big plans and big thoughts and big desires. That's okay, but you got to take that first step. And it might be a baby step so you can figure out which way you really need to go or turn or what have you. But go for it. And another one I thought, a year from now, you would have wished you started today. So start today. Because that's true. How many of us, well, I'll get to it later, or, well, I'm waiting for this or that or whatever. And he's like, what are you waiting for? Just do it. So those are the things he did that he wrote down. And this was one of his too. Share your smile. He was big on that. Be the difference and inspire others to be the difference. I love that one too, because what he does, he's always talking about is being inspired or how you can inspire. And like I said, getting on YouTube, there is definitely more than one YouTube channel that you can watch people mow grass, or clean the sidewalk, whatever it is. In fact, there's a few that will somehow help people clean inside the house or work with a hoarder. Not as much because you're not going to see it inside. So unless somebody says something, but the grass, yeah, you could see that. I mean, they trim trees and the grass, you got a fence and the grass is covering it up and you need that cleaned off. I mean, he does so much. And he picks up the garbage, move things if he has to, whatever. But if you're listening to him, you were so inspired. And him and his buddy so briefly said, oh, I wonder if, what we're supposed to be doing with our life, something like that. And they go, who knows, but we're having fun right now. So they didn't even know that they were living their life's purpose. And they only briefly, I think it took like 2 seconds to mention it. And that was it. Just those 2 seconds. And they didn't dwell on it. Like some of us have been dwelling on it for a few years, thinking, oh, I need to do this or that to be holy, spiritual, whatever. And they were doing nothing that. And he would say, help out. Just do it. And that's when I realized you are living your life's purpose if you're listening to your heart. So even if you're just giving a smile, that is your life's purpose. No one says you had to go out and conquer the whole world or what have you. So if you know somebody that just needs a can of soup, give that to them. Because that brings joy to them. They're grateful for that. But they look at it and say, yeah, what that? Well, then no. Okay, fine. Just back off and say, okay. Either give it to the food bank or you give it or hold on to it because you could probably still use it. You were just trying to offer something, whatever. But you are living your life's purpose. The only time you really are not is when you are giving because you think you have to, you should, you need to. Then that's not life's purpose. You're trying to create it. You're trying to make it, but it doesn't make your heart sing, because when your heart sings is when you do share, when you do give, and when you unexpectedly help someone. I mean, somebody could drop something on the sidewalk and you pick it up for them. You give it to them. And they're like, oh, thank you. I mean, just little things like that. That is your life's purpose. And that's going to make you smile because you served. Oh, real quick. The young man, the one doing the lawn, he created another YouTube thing with music where he sings. He's so cheerful and everything. And this song, it's a rap song, but it's so happy. And you know what he's singing? I get to mow the grass. I'm going to mow the grass. I mean, I don't remember the whole song, but it's mostly, I get to mow the grass. I'm mowing the grass. I get to, and he's like among some tall grass things. I get to grow the grass. To get grass. I mean, and he's got that on a YouTube. And it's just little things like that. Have fun. Have fun. And you are living your life's purpose, bringing joy, not only to yourself, because when you bring it to yourself, it spreads. And then everybody is living their life purpose.
Thank you, Leah. I want to reflect on what you said a bit, that a couple weeks ago when we read Emmett Fox, he was talking about following your calling, following your life's purpose. You may remember that. And he made the point that you're stepping into darkness. You might see the next stepping stone as you're following it, and it may feel like a zigzag path. And certainly for me, that was the case. And I remember Laura, who's with us today, in the struggles that she sought to find the ultimate path for her, and she has. But it sort of zigzagged to get there, didn't it, Laura? And now she has it. And I'm aware that there are others in our congregation, some here, some not, who still aren't sure. And your point of take a step, because till you get that next step, you don't know what the next one's going to be. And my belief and my witness is, you do what you seek to do. If you have a core principle that's following you, you do whatever seems to fit and let the divine do the guiding to where your ultimate home is.